Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Learn Anna, Learn English Today.
Hi, friends. We're so glad you're here with us today.
Today, we're talking about something very important: snow, winter safety, and how to help each other during difficult weather. Sam, have you been watching the news lately about the snow in Europe and the United States?
Yes, it's been really severe. Some areas are experiencing the worst winter weather in decades. There's been heavy snow, ice storms, and extremely cold temperatures.
It's quite serious. Some cities have received over a meter of snow in just a few days. Roads are closed, airports are shut down, and many people have lost power in their homes.
And the cold temperatures are dangerous too. In some places, it's minus 20 or even minus 30 degrees Celsius.
That's extremely cold. At those temperatures, people can get frostbite in just a few minutes if they're not properly dressed.
I think many of our viewers might be experiencing this weather right now, or they might know people who are affected. That's why we wanted to have this conversation today.
Exactly. We want to talk about how to stay safe during winter weather, what to do in emergencies, and importantly, how we can help each other during these difficult times.
And of course, we'll be learning useful English vocabulary and phrases related to winter and safety as we talk.
If you find this conversation helpful and want to learn more English with us, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel.
Yes, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our new videos. Now, let's talk about winter safety.
Sam, let's start by talking about what's happening right now in Europe and the United States. Can you describe the situation?
Sure. In many parts of Europe, especially in countries like the UK, France, Germany, and Poland, there have been severe snowstorms. Some areas that don't usually get much snow are being hit hard.
That's a big problem because when areas don't usually get snow, they're not prepared for it. They might not have enough snowplows or salt for the roads.
Exactly. And many people don't have the right equipment or clothing because they're not used to this kind of weather.
What about the United States?
The US is also experiencing extreme winter weather, particularly in the northern and central states. Cities like Chicago, Minneapolis, and Buffalo are dealing with blizzards and dangerous wind chills.
What's a blizzard? Can you explain that term?
A blizzard is a severe snowstorm with very strong winds and heavy snow. The wind blows the snow around so much that you can't see very far. Sometimes you can only see a few meters in front of you.
That sounds terrifying. Driving in those conditions must be incredibly dangerous.
It is. That's why authorities tell people to stay home during blizzards. It's not safe to drive or even walk outside.
And you mentioned wind chill. What does that mean?
Wind chill is how cold it actually feels when you combine the air temperature with the wind speed. For example, if the temperature is minus 10 degrees but the wind is blowing strongly, it might feel like minus 20 or minus 30 degrees.
So the wind makes it feel even colder than it actually is.
Exactly. And that's why wind chill is so dangerous. You can get frostbite much faster when there's strong wind.
What's frostbite?
Frostbite is when your skin and tissue freeze because of extreme cold. It usually affects fingers, toes, ears, and nose first, the parts of your body that are furthest from your heart.
That sounds very serious. Can frostbite cause permanent damage?
Yes, it can. In severe cases, people can lose fingers or toes. That's why it's so important to dress properly in cold weather.
This current weather situation is really dangerous. I hope everyone watching is staying safe and warm.
Me too. And that's why we're having this conversation, to help people understand the dangers and know how to protect themselves.
Sam, let's talk about how to stay safe at home during severe winter weather. What should people do to prepare their homes?
Great question. The first thing is to make sure your heating system is working properly. Before winter arrives, you should have your furnace or heater checked by a professional.
What's a furnace?
A furnace is a heating system that warms air and distributes it throughout your home. In many houses, the furnace is in the basement.
So you should check it before winter to make sure it won't break down when you really need it.
Exactly. Because if your furnace breaks during a snowstorm, it might take days for a repair person to reach you, especially if roads are closed.
That's a good point. What else should people do to prepare their homes?
You should check your insulation, especially around windows and doors. Cold air can come in through small gaps, making your house colder and increasing your heating costs.
How do you check for gaps?
On a windy day, you can hold your hand near windows and doors. If you feel cold air coming in, you need to seal those gaps. You can use weather stripping or caulk to seal them.
What about pipes? I've heard that pipes can freeze in cold weather.
Yes, that's a serious problem. When pipes freeze, they can burst and cause major water damage to your home.
How do you prevent pipes from freezing?
There are several things you can do. First, keep your home heated to at least 15 degrees Celsius, even if you're not home. Second, open cabinet doors under sinks so warm air can circulate around the pipes.
What else?
If you have pipes in unheated areas, like a garage or basement, you can wrap them with insulation or heat tape. And if it's extremely cold, you can let faucets drip slightly. Moving water is less likely to freeze.
These are really practical tips. What should people do if they lose power during a winter storm?
That's a very important question, and we'll talk more about that later. But the key is to be prepared before it happens.
What kind of preparation?
Have emergency supplies ready. Flashlights, batteries, blankets, food that doesn't need cooking, and bottled water. Also, have a battery-powered radio so you can hear weather updates.
Should people use generators if they lose power?
Generators can be helpful, but they're also very dangerous if used incorrectly. You should never use a generator indoors or an attached garage because they produce carbon monoxide, which is a deadly gas.
So generators must always be used outside, away from windows and doors.
Exactly. And you need to keep them dry and protected from snow and rain.
What about alternative heating sources like fireplaces or space heaters?
If you have a working fireplace, that's great, but make sure your chimney is clean and safe. For space heaters, keep them at least 1 meter away from anything that can burn. Curtains, furniture, blankets.
And never leave space heaters running when you're sleeping or not in the room, right?
Absolutely. Space heaters cause many house fires every winter because people don't use them safely. Anna, let's talk about how to dress properly for cold weather. This is so important for staying safe.
Yes. I think many people don't realize how dangerous cold weather can be if you're not dressed correctly.
You're right. The key to dressing for cold weather is something called layering.
What does layering mean?
Layering means wearing multiple layers of clothing instead of just one thick coat. This traps warm air between the layers and keeps you much warmer.
Can you explain what layers people should wear?
Sure. The first layer, closest to your skin, should be a moisture-wicking material that keeps sweat away from your body. This could be thermal underwear or a synthetic fabric shirt.
Why is it important to keep moisture away?
Because if your clothing gets wet from sweat, it will make you much colder. Wet clothing loses its insulating ability.
I see. So the first layer keeps you dry. What's the second layer?
The second layer is for insulation. This is usually a fleece jacket or wool sweater. This layer traps warm air and keeps your body heat from escaping.
And the third layer?
The third layer is your outer layer, which protects you from wind, rain, and snow. This should be a waterproof and windproof jacket.
So 3 layers. One to stay dry, one to stay warm, and one to block wind and moisture from outside.
Perfect, you've got it. But don't forget about your extremities, your hands, feet, and head.
Why are those so important?
Because you lose a lot of body heat through your head, and your fingers and toes are the first parts to get frostbite. You need to protect them well.
What should people wear on their heads?
A warm hat that covers your ears. In extreme cold, you might also want to wear a scarf over your face to protect your nose and cheeks.
And for hands?
Mittens are warmer than gloves because your fingers stay together and share warmth. But if you need to use your fingers for something, insulated gloves are better than nothing.
What about feet?
Warm, waterproof boots are essential. Your socks should be wool or synthetic, never cotton, because cotton stays wet and makes your feet cold.
Should people wear one thick pair of socks or multiple thin pairs?
Actually, wearing 2 pairs of socks can be good. A thin, moisture-wicking pair first, then a thick wool pair over it. But make sure your boots aren't too tight, because tight boots can cut off circulation and make your feet colder.
These are such helpful tips. What should people do if they start feeling too cold outside?
If you start shivering uncontrollably, feel confused, or lose feeling in your fingers or toes, You need to get inside immediately. These are signs of hypothermia or frostbite.
What's hypothermia?
Hypothermia is when your body temperature drops below normal. It's very dangerous and can be deadly if not treated quickly.
What are the symptoms?
Early symptoms include shivering, confusion, slurred speech, and drowsiness. If someone has these symptoms, you need to get them warm and call for emergency help.
How do you warm someone with hypothermia?
Move them to a warm place, remove any wet clothing, and wrap them in blankets. Give them warm drinks if they're conscious, but never give them alcohol. And call emergency services right away.
Sam, many people need to drive during winter weather for work or emergencies. What safety tips should they know?
Winter driving is one of the most dangerous things people do during snow and ice, so it's really important to be prepared.
What should people do before they start driving?
First, make sure your car is winter ready. This means having good tires with enough tread, checking your antifreeze, and making sure your battery is strong.
What's antifreeze?
Antifreeze is a liquid that prevents your car's engine from freezing in cold temperatures. You should check it before winter and make sure you have the right mixture.
What about tires? Are special winter tires necessary?
In areas with heavy snow, winter tires make a huge difference. They're made of special rubber that stays flexible in cold temperatures and has deeper treads to grip snow and ice.
What should people keep in their car during winter?
You should have an emergency kit with several important items. First, a blanket or sleeping bag because if you get stuck, you need to stay warm.
What else?
Water and non-perishable snacks, a flashlight with extra batteries, a first aid kit, and a phone charger. Also, a small shovel, ice scraper, and sand or kitty litter.
Why sand or kitty litter?
Because if your car gets stuck in snow, you can put sand or kitty litter under your tires to help them get traction. It's much better than just spinning your wheels.
That's clever. What should people do while driving in snow?
Drive slowly. This is the most important rule. In snowy or icy conditions, you should drive much slower than normal, even if it feels too slow.
Why is speed so dangerous?
Because on ice and snow, your car needs much more distance to stop. If you're going too fast, you won't be able to stop in time if something happens.
What if the car starts to slide?
Don't panic. Take your foot off the accelerator and steer gently in the direction you want to go. Don't brake suddenly because that can make the slide worse.
What about going up or down hills in snow?
When going up a hill, try to keep a steady speed. Don't stop halfway up because it's hard to start moving again. When going down, go very slowly and use a low gear if you can.
What should people do if they get stuck in their car during a snowstorm?
This is really important. Stay with your car. Don't try to walk for help in a blizzard. You can easily get lost and freeze to death.
So you should stay in the car.
Yes, but be careful about running the engine for heat. You can run it for about 10 minutes every hour to warm up, but make sure the exhaust pipe isn't blocked by snow or you could get carbon monoxide poisoning.
That's scary. So you need to check outside to make sure snow isn't blocking the exhaust?
Yes, and keep a window cracked open slightly for fresh air. Move your arms and legs periodically to keep your circulation going and stay warm.
Should you call for help?
Yes, call emergency services and tell them where you are. If you're on a highway, stay in your car and wait for help. Put on your hazard lights and tie something bright to your antenna if you have one, so rescuers can see you.
What if it's not safe to drive, but you really need to go somewhere?
Then don't drive. It's better to miss work or an appointment than to risk your life. Most employers and organizations understand during severe weather.
Anna, let's talk about being prepared for emergencies during winter weather. What should people have at home?
This is so important. Many people don't think about emergencies until they happen, but preparation can save lives.
Exactly. Let's talk about the essential supplies everyone should have.
First, let's talk about food. What kind of food should people store for emergencies?
You want non-perishable food that doesn't need refrigeration or cooking. This includes canned goods, dried fruits, nuts, granola bars, and crackers.
How much food should people have?
Experts recommend having at least 3 days' worth of food for each person in your household. A week is even better.
What about water?
Water is even more important than food. You should have at least 1 gallon of water per person per day. So for a family of 4, that's 12 gallons for 3 days.
That's a lot of water. Where should people store it?
You can buy bottled water or fill clean containers with tap water. Store it in a cool, dark place and replace it every 6 months.
What about cooking? If the power is out, how do you heat food?
A camping stove can be useful, but you must only use it outside or in a very well-ventilated area, never in a closed room because of carbon monoxide.
What other supplies are essential?
Flashlights and lots of batteries. Don't rely on candles because they're a fire hazard. Also, have a battery-powered or hand-crank radio to hear emergency updates.
What about medications?
Great point. If you or family members take regular medications, make sure you have at least a week's supply. This includes prescription medicines and basic over-the-counter items like pain relievers.
Should people have a first aid kit?
Absolutely. A basic first aid kit should include bandages, antiseptic wipes, pain relievers, scissors, tweezers, and any personal medications.
What about hygiene items?
Don't forget toilet paper, soap, hand sanitizer, and feminine hygiene products if needed. Also have garbage bags and moist towelettes.
What if someone has a baby?
Baby supplies are crucial. Diapers, formula, baby food, and extra clothing. Babies are especially vulnerable to cold, so extra blankets are important too.
Should people have cash on hand?
Yes, if the power is out, credit card machines and ATMs won't work. Have some cash and small bills available.
What about important documents?
Keep copies of important documents in a waterproof container. Things like identification, insurance papers, bank account information, and medical records.
How often should people check their emergency supplies?
At least twice a year. Check expiration dates on food and medications, test your flashlights and radios, and replace batteries if needed.
Sam, we've mentioned power outages several times. Let's talk specifically about what to do if the power goes out during a winter storm.
This is really important because power outages are common during severe winter weather. Heavy snow can bring down power lines, and ice can damage electrical equipment.
How long do power outages typically last during winter storms?
It varies a lot. Some outages are fixed in a few hours, but severe storms can cause outages lasting several days or even a week in some areas.
That's a long time. What's the first thing people should do when the power goes out?
First, check if it's just your house or if your neighbors have lost power too. If it's just your house, it might be a problem with your circuit breaker. If it's the whole neighborhood, it's probably a wider outage.
Should people report the outage?
Yes, call your power company to report it. They might not know about your specific area yet, and the more reports they get, the higher they'll prioritize that area for repair.
How about keeping the house warm without power?
This is the biggest challenge. Close off rooms you're not using and gather everyone in one room to share body heat. Close curtains and blinds to keep heat in.
Can people use their oven or stove for heat?
Never. This is very dangerous. Ovens and stoves are not designed for heating and can cause carbon monoxide poisoning or fires.
So what safe options do people have?
If you have a fireplace, that's great. Just make sure the flue is open and you have enough firewood. Dress in layers, use blankets, and consider sleeping in one room together to stay warm.
What about the refrigerator and freezer during a power outage?
Keep them closed as much as possible. A full freezer can keep food frozen for about 48 hours if you don't open it. A refrigerator will keep food cold for about 4 hours.
How can you tell if food is still safe to eat after the power comes back?
If food still has ice crystals or is below 4 degrees Celsius, it's usually safe to refreeze. When in doubt, throw it out. Food poisoning is serious.
What about staying connected during a power outage?
Keep your phone charged. When the power goes out, put your phone in low power mode and only use it for essential communication. A car charger can be helpful, but remember to run your car outside, never in a closed garage.
Are there portable power banks people can use?
Yes, portable power banks are great for charging phones. You should keep them fully charged before a storm hits.
What should people do if they see a downed power line?
This is critical. Never ever touch or go near a downed power line. Stay at least 10 meters away and call emergency services immediately. Even if the line looks dead, it could still be carrying deadly electricity.
And assume that any wire you see on the ground could be a power line.
Exactly. Don't touch it and don't let anyone else touch it. Also, don't drive over downed power lines or through water near them.
Anna, during winter emergencies, some people are more vulnerable than others. Let's talk about how we can help our neighbors who might need extra support.
Yes, this is such an important topic. Community support can save lives during severe weather.
Who are the most vulnerable people during winter weather?
Elderly people are often very vulnerable. They might have difficulty moving around in snow, and some elderly people live alone without nearby family.
What other groups are vulnerable?
People with disabilities might have trouble getting supplies or might need special medical equipment that requires electricity. Also, young children and babies need extra protection from the cold. And we shouldn't forget about people who are homeless or living in poverty. They might not have adequate heating or warm clothing.
So, how can we help? What are some practical ways to support vulnerable neighbors?
First, check on them. A simple phone call or knock on the door to ask if they're okay can make a huge difference.
That's true. Sometimes just knowing that someone cares is comforting. What else can we do?
If you're going to the store, offer to pick up supplies for neighbors who can't easily get out. This could include food, medications, or batteries.
That's so helpful. What about shoveling snow?
Yes, if you have elderly or disabled neighbors, offer to shovel their driveway and walkway. This prevents falls and allows emergency services to reach them if needed.
Should people share their resources during emergencies?
Absolutely. If you have extra blankets, batteries, food, or water, consider sharing with neighbors who might not be as prepared.
What if you're worried about a neighbor but they won't answer the door?
If you know someone is home but they're not responding, and especially if you haven't seen them in a while, you should call the police or emergency services for a wellness check.
That's better than assuming everything is fine.
Much better. It's okay to be cautious. Emergency responders would rather check on someone who's fine than arrive too late to help someone in trouble.
What about organizing community help?
That's a great idea. If you live in an apartment building or neighborhood, consider creating a group chat or phone tree to check on everyone during emergencies.
What's a phone tree?
A phone tree is when each person is responsible for calling 2 or 3 other people to check on them. This way, everyone gets checked on without one person having to call everyone.
That's efficient. What about community warming centers?
During severe cold, many communities open warming centers, public spaces where people can go to stay warm. These might be in schools, libraries, or community centers.
Can anyone use these warming centers?
Yes, they're open to anyone who needs to get warm, especially people whose homes don't have heat or people who are homeless.
How can people help support these warming centers?
You can donate blankets, warm clothes, non-perishable food, or your time as a volunteer. Contact your local government or community organizations to find out what they need.
Anna, let's talk about emergency services. When should people call for help and what number should they call?
This is crucial information. In the United States, the emergency number is 911. In the UK and most of Europe, it's 112. Some countries have different numbers, so everyone should know their local emergency number.
When should someone call emergency services?
Call 911 or your local emergency number for life-threatening situations. If someone is seriously injured, having a medical emergency like a heart attack or stroke, if there's a fire, or if someone is in immediate danger.
What about situations that are urgent but maybe not immediately life-threatening?
Many areas have non-emergency police numbers for situations that need attention but aren't immediate emergencies. You should look up this number for your area and save it in your phone.
Can you give examples of when to call emergency services during winter weather?
Sure. Call 911 if someone shows signs of severe hypothermia or frostbite, if someone falls on ice and might have broken bones or a head injury, or if there's a carbon monoxide detector going off.
What about being trapped in a car during a blizzard?
Yes, definitely call 911. Give them your location as precisely as possible. If you're on a highway, try to identify mile markers or exit numbers.
What if someone's home has lost heat and they're in danger of hypothermia?
Call emergency services. They can direct you to warming shelters or send help if needed. Don't wait until the situation becomes critical.
When emergency responders are on their way, what should people do?
Stay calm and follow any instructions the 911 operator gives you. They're trained to help and might give you important guidance while responders are coming.
What information should people give to 911 operators?
Always give your location first, your address or where you are. Then explain the emergency clearly and calmly. Answer the operator's questions. They need specific information to send the right help.
What if someone doesn't speak English well and needs to call 911?
Most 911 services have translation services available. Just say your language name and they'll connect you with a translator. Don't hesitate to call because of language concerns.
Are there other helpful services during winter emergencies besides 911?
Yes, the American Red Cross has a helpline and provides emergency assistance. Many areas also have 211, a phone number you can call for information about local services, shelters, and resources.
What's the Red Cross?
The Red Cross is an international humanitarian organization that helps people during emergencies and disasters. They provide shelter, food, medical help, and other support.
How can people support the Red Cross?
You can donate money, donate blood, or volunteer your time. During winter emergencies, they always need volunteers to help at shelters and distribute supplies.
We touched on this earlier, but let's talk more specifically about people experiencing homelessness during winter weather. This is a matter of life and death.
You're absolutely right. Every winter, people die from exposure to extreme cold, and many of them are experiencing homelessness.
What can regular people do to help?
There are many ways to help. First, if you see someone outside in dangerous cold who appears to be homeless, you can call local homeless outreach services.
What are homeless outreach services?
These are organizations that have teams who go out and try to connect homeless individuals with shelters and services. Many cities have these services. You can find the number online for your area.
What if it's an emergency and the person seems to be in immediate danger?
Then you should call 911. If someone is unresponsive or showing signs of hypothermia, they need immediate medical help.
What about giving direct help to homeless individuals?
You can offer warm clothing, blankets, hand warmers, socks, and weather-appropriate gear. Even a hot drink can make a difference on a very cold day.
Should people give food?
Yes, but non-perishable food is usually better than restaurant food because they can save it for later. Things like granola bars, sealed snacks, and bottled water are helpful.
What about giving money?
Some people prefer to give money directly, while others prefer to give items or donate to organizations. There's no wrong choice. Do what feels right to you.
Are there organizations people can donate to that help the homeless during winter?
Yes. Many cities have homeless shelters, soup kitchens, and organizations that provide winter clothing and supplies. You can also donate to the Salvation Army, local churches, or community organizations.
What kinds of items do these organizations need?
They always need warm clothes: coats, hats, gloves, scarves, and especially socks. Socks are one of the most needed items because they wear out quickly, and it's crucial to keep feet warm and dry.
What about blankets and sleeping bags?
Yes, these are essential. Heavy-duty sleeping bags rated for cold weather can literally save lives. Also, thick blankets and thermal blankets are very helpful.
Can people volunteer at shelters?
Absolutely. Shelters often need volunteers to help serve meals, sort donations, or provide other support. Contact your local shelter to ask about volunteer opportunities.
What about warming shelters? How do those work?
Warming shelters are temporary shelters that open when temperatures drop below a certain point. They provide a warm, safe place to sleep and usually offer food as well.
Do people need identification or money to use warming shelters?
No, most warming shelters are free and don't require identification. They're open to anyone who needs to get out of the cold.
If someone knows of a person experiencing homelessness who won't go to a shelter, what can they do?
You can still offer assistance. Give them warm clothing, food, information about where shelters are located, and if possible, check on them periodically.
But remember, you should never put yourself in danger. If someone seems aggressive or dangerous, keep your distance and call professional services instead.
That's important to mention. We want to help, but we also need to stay safe ourselves. Let's talk about what to do after the snow stops falling. There are still safety concerns even after the storm passes.
You're right, the work isn't over just because the snow stopped. In fact, this is when many injuries occur.
What's the first thing people should do after a snowstorm?
Check on neighbors first, especially elderly or vulnerable people. Make sure everyone is safe and has what they need.
What about clearing snow?
Yes, you'll need to clear pathways and driveways, but snow shoveling is hard work and can be dangerous, especially for people who aren't used to physical activity.
I've heard that many people have heart attacks while shoveling snow. Is that true?
Yes, unfortunately. Snow shoveling is very strenuous. People with heart conditions or who are out of shape are at risk.
What's the safe way to shovel snow?
First, warm up your muscles with some light stretching. Dress warmly, but not too heavily. You'll get hot from the work. Push the snow rather than lifting it when possible.
What if you do need to lift snow?
Bend at your knees, not your back. Lift with your legs, keep loads small, and don't throw snow over your shoulder. That twisting motion is how many people hurt their backs.
Should people take breaks?
Yes, take frequent breaks, drink water, and stop if you feel chest pain, short of breath, or dizzy. These could be signs of a heart attack or exhaustion.
What about using a snowblower instead of shoveling?
Snowblowers can make the job easier, but they have their own safety concerns. Never put your hands in the machine while it's running, even if it's clogged.
What should you do if it gets clogged?
Turn off the engine and wait for all moving parts to stop. Then use a stick or the tool that comes with the snowblower to clear the clog, never your hands.
What about salt and de-icers for walkways?
Salt and de-icers help melt ice and prevent slips and falls. Apply them to steps, sidewalks, and driveways after you've cleared the snow.
Is salt safe for pets and plants?
Traditional road salt can be harmful to pets' paws and can damage plants. There are pet-safe and plant-safe alternatives available that work well and are less harmful.
What about ice on roofs? Is that dangerous?
Very dangerous. Heavy snow and ice on roofs can cause roofs to collapse. Also, ice dams can form and cause water damage inside your home.
What's an ice dam?
An ice dam is when ice builds up at the edge of your roof and prevents melting snow from draining. The water backs up under your shingles and leaks into your house.
How do you prevent ice dams?
Keep your attic well insulated and ventilated. This keeps your roof cold so snow doesn't melt and refreeze at the edges. You can also carefully remove snow from your roof with a roof rake.
Should people get on their roofs to remove snow?
No, that's very dangerous. Use a roof rake from the ground or hire a professional if you have concerns about heavy snow on your roof.
What about icicles hanging from roofs and gutters?
Icicles can be beautiful, but they're also dangerous. Large icicles can fall and seriously injure someone. Knock them down carefully with a long pole standing well back.
What other hazards should people watch for after a storm?
Watch for black ice. This is a thin, transparent layer of ice on roads and sidewalks. It's called black ice because you can see the black pavement through it, so it looks like there is no ice at all.
That sounds very dangerous.
It is. Black ice is most common early in the morning or late at night when temperatures drop. Walk carefully and drive slowly in areas where black ice might form.
Let's talk about the bigger picture. How communities come together during winter emergencies and what resources are available.
I love this topic. It's inspiring to see how people help each other during difficult times.
What are some examples of community support during winter weather?
Neighbors often help each other shovel snow, share supplies, check on elderly residents, and provide rides if someone's car is stuck or broken down.
I've also seen people open their homes to others who've lost power or heat. That's real community spirit.
Absolutely. What about organized community resources? What's available to help people?
Many communities have emergency shelters, as we mentioned earlier, but there are also food banks that provide free food to people in need.
How do food banks work?
Food banks collect donated food and distribute it to people who need help. During winter emergencies, when people might be unable to get to stores or might have financial difficulties, food banks are especially important.
Can anyone use a food bank?
Yes, most food banks don't require proof of income or identification. If you need food, you can go to a food bank.
What other community resources are there?
Many communities have programs that help pay heating bills for low-income families. These programs have different names in different places. In the US, one program is called LIHEEP, which stands for Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program.
So people who can't afford their heating bills can get help?
Yes, these programs can help pay part or all of the heating bill or help with emergency furnace repairs. People should contact their local social services office to apply.
What about free winter clothing programs?
Maybe charities and churches run coat drives and clothing programs. They collect winter coats, boots, hats, and gloves and give them to people who need them.
How can people access these programs?
Usually through local churches, community centers, or organizations like the Salvation Army. You can also call 211 in the United States to get connected with local resources.
What's 211?
It's a free phone number that connects you with local services and resources. You can call and say what kind of help you need, food, shelter, heating assistance, clothing, and they'll tell you what's available in your area.
That's so helpful. What about for people who want to help? How can they get involved?
There are so many ways. You can donate money or supplies to local shelters and charities. You can volunteer your time at shelters, food banks, or warming centers.
What about organizing something in your own neighborhood?
Great idea. You could organize a neighborhood check-in system, start a tool-sharing program for snow shovels and snowblowers, or create a community emergency contact list.
What about people who have specific skills? Can they use those to help?
Definitely. If you're a doctor or nurse, you might volunteer at a shelter. If you have a truck or SUV, you might help transport supplies or drive people to warming centers. If you're good at organizing, you might coordinate volunteer schedules.
It sounds like everyone has something they can contribute.
Exactly. You don't need to be rich or have special skills. Even small acts of kindness make a big difference during difficult times.
We've talked a lot about dealing with winter weather, but let's talk about why extreme weather seems to be happening more often. Is this related to climate change?
That's a really important question. Yes, scientists say that climate change is making extreme weather events more frequent and more severe.
But I'm confused. If the planet is getting warmer, why are we having such severe snowstorms and cold weather?
That's a common question. Climate change doesn't mean everywhere gets warmer all the time. It means the climate is becoming more unstable and extreme.
Can you explain that more?
Sure. When we say the Earth is warming, we're talking about the average temperature over the whole planet. But this warming disrupts weather patterns and can cause extreme events, both hot and cold.
So we might have extreme heat waves in summer and extreme cold and snow in winter?
Exactly. And these extreme events can happen in places that aren't used to them.
What's causing climate change?
The main cause is greenhouse gases, especially carbon dioxide, that trap heat in the atmosphere. These gases come primarily from burning fossil fuels.
What are we using these fossil fuels for?
Electricity, heating, transportation, manufacturing, almost everything in modern life uses energy from fossil fuels.
What can individuals do to help address climate change?
We can reduce energy use, drive less, use public transport, eat less meat, and use energy-efficient appliances.
Do these small actions really make a difference?
Yes, when millions of people do them, yes. But we also need governments and companies to act.
Like investing in renewable energy?
Exactly. Solar and wind energy are now much cheaper than before and are growing fast.
Is there reason to be hopeful?
I think so. Awareness is growing, renewable energy is expanding, and more action is happening. But we need to move faster.
So extreme winter weather may be part of a larger pattern.
Yes, that's why we need both immediate help during emergencies and long-term solutions to climate change. Well, we've covered so much important information about snow, winter safety, and helping our communities.
We really have. From staying safe at home and dressing properly for cold weather to helping vulnerable neighbors and understanding emergency services.
I hope everyone watching has learned some useful tips that will keep them safe this winter.
And remember, winter weather can be dangerous, but we can protect ourselves and each other if we're prepared and look out for one another.
If you're experiencing severe winter weather right now, please stay safe, stay warm, and don't hesitate to ask for help if you need it.
And if you're able to help others, whether it's checking on a neighbor, donating to a shelter, or volunteering your time, please do. Community support saves lives.
Thank you so much for watching and learning with us today, everyone.
If you found this information helpful, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more English learning content.
Stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next video.
Goodbye, everyone. Take care of yourselves and each other.
Bye-bye.